You're ready, won't you? That's it. Merry Christmas. How you all doing? You doing well? Yeah. Just so you know, I sleep on the right side of the bed. My wife sits so I'm close to the bathroom, but I know it's the closest place to the door, which means that if a burglar breaks in, I'm the one who gets killed first. That's the reason. I looked at this guy in the eye. I said, how are you? He said, I can't complain. Turned out he could. As you can tell, I used to go to the barber, but that relationship came to a natural end. He died. Last week I went to an athletics carnival. Don't worry, I've got my working with children check. I was there. They had all the traditional events, as you do. They also had the novelty events. They introduced some. They're obviously preparing the students to be the athletes and the Olympians of the future. So there was this. Not breaking, they were targets for shooting. A lot of Turkish kids in that school. Any of you dropped anything?
One time.
Just one time. Well, I dropped out of college. When I say I dropped out of college, it was more a dishonourable discharge. And the professor said I should be ashamed, feel guilty, and feel appalled at my behaviour. But I've got to admit, a few years later, and even now, I still think it's funny to put a cow into an elevator. Last weekend I went to a wedding. Sat down at the table, the guy next to me said, how do you know the happy couple? I said, I don't. He turned back to me and said, neither do I. He said, where are you from? I said, I'm from London. He said, where's that? I said, well, it's in the middle of Singapore, on the 3rd ring road of Beijing, just to the right of America, in the middle of Denmark, underneath Mexico. And you go over the brow of the hill, and you keep going, and you turn left, and you keep going a little bit further, and you end up at my house. He said, I think I know it. I looked around, the happy couple stood up, and I thought, why is everyone dressed so weirdly? And then the happy couple said, welcome to the cosplay convention. So I left. Any of you into that positive, thinking that I went to this conference, it was a positive culture conference, right? A conference about positive culture. I got there, very disappointing, no yogurt. I was staying at this hotel, someone else was paying, I thought fantastic, I got into my hotel room, it was great. I went into the shower, I thought I'm using the shower cap. So I did, put the shower cap on, those bottles that attached to the wall didn't fool me, I brought my own bottles, filled them up. Then I had to dry myself. I thought I'm using the hairdryer, it's there. So dry myself with the hairdryer. Next morning, normally I have just tea and toast. Not this time. Oh, I'm having everything. That's what you do, isn't it, when you go to a conference? Normally just tea and toast, no yogurt still. Really disappointing positive culture. Got there, ate all the breakfast. Oh, you're hungry? I ate everything, even the berries. I don't even like berries. Got to the first session with there, I was sat at the table with all the people from my business. It was the top business in the city. And they go, what do you think? And there's one guy who goes, you know what? On Monday, I was feeling negative. I shouldn't have come to work. I was feeling really down. And he goes, I should remember how good we've got it at this company, how brilliant everything is. It was so silly of me. I shouldn't have come to work when I was feeling so down. I thought, well, that's akin to my mum saying to me, and you really should eat all your greens. Because think of all those starving people in Africa who also would eat them, they're disgusting. And the next table down from me, there was another group. I thought, I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder if they're thinking the same. I bet they're sat there thinking, we're not as good as that company up there, but look at where we are, we're in perfect, it's beautiful, look at the view, look at that, you can see the ocean from where we are, not obviously in the centre of Perth, otherwise that wouldn't work. And they're saying, don't worry, I get it, your mum's got brain cancer, but don't worry about that, everything's going really well. I understand you've got depression, but it doesn't matter. You're not in the Ukraine being bombed right now, are you? Then we got to lunchtime and I felt hungry again. And it's always terrible when you sit next to that person, isn't it, who's a loud eater. I sat next to this one guy. I thought, oh my gosh, what's going to happen when he finishes the Mentos? In the afternoon, we had one of those sessions. You're there, they're watching, they show you a video, they put the uplifting music on, don't they? Oh, what's this video? It's really positive, building a positive culture, still no yogurt. We're watching this video, the uplifting music was playing, it was like, oh, it's wonderful. And they were building a world together, collectively, even though the world's already been created. They go, oh, isn't it great we're making it? There's no pollution on this world. No, because it's not a real world, is it? They finished it, and the music at the end is going, well, there's uplifting music. And this one guy, they said, what do you think? And he said, do you know what I think? He said, I think this. He said, I think when we work together, we can achieve anything. And the instructor turned to me and said, what do you think of that? I said, do you know what? I'll show you. So I picked him up. He started struggling. I said, no, come on. I said, come on, let's do this. He goes, what are you doing? I said, come on, you've told us to be positive, we are being positive. I took him into the lift, and the rest of us came, we were working together on it. We got up to the 8th floor, we got out, there was a cow on the balcony. That's been there for some time. And I felt really positive. I said, oh, come on. He goes, what are you doing? I said, you said we can achieve anything, let's see if that's true. And we threw him off the balcony, and we said, fly! And he did fly. All the way to the ground. And don't worry though, because the ambulance guys were really great at clearing up the mess of the human and the cow. And what I learned from that experience is this: when you have a negative thought and you are feeling a bit sick, maybe you shouldn't go to a positive culture conference, especially if there's no yoga. And I like to get up early in the morning, and I always look at myself in the mirror, and I always say the same thing. I say, how are you? I always have the same response. I can't complain. Thanks very much.